The Los Angeles Dodgers are once again right in the middle of one of the most talked about storylines of the offseason. And this time, everything revolves around the growing anticipation surrounding Kyle Tucker's next move. Over the last stretch of hours, the amount of information circulating has increased significantly. And while not every detail is crystal clear, one thing is undeniable. The Dodgers are very much involved, but they are playing this game in their own calculated way. This is not about desperation or flashy headlines. It is about strategy, leverage, and a front office that believes its current foundation is already strong enough to compete at the highest level. What stands out immediately is how different the Dodgers' approach feels compared to the other teams pushing hard in this race. While some organizations are clearly trying to overwhelm Tucker with sheer financial force and long-term commitments, Los Angeles appears focused on flexibility and timing. The Dodgers have reportedly placed a short-term offer on the table, and even without exact figures being made public, the structure alone says a lot. This is a team that values roster balance, future maneuverability, and maintaining control over its competitive window rather than locking itself into a massive deal that could restrict options down the road. That mindset becomes even more interesting when you look at the broader context of the Dodgers roster. This is not a franchise entering a rebuild or trying to manufacture relevance. This is a club that already sees itself as a championship-level group. Because of that, the pursuit of Kyle Tucker feels less like a necessity and more like a calculated opportunity. If the fit is right, and if the terms align with the organization's vision, they will happily make the move. If not, they're comfortable walking away knowing they can still contend without him. From a baseball perspective, it is easy to understand why Tucker is so appealing. He brings a combination of power, discipline, and athleticism that instantly upgrades any lineup. His left-handed bat would add another dangerous dimension, and his presence in the outfield would elevate both offensive consistency and defensive stability. For the Dodgers, who already possess a deep lineup, Tucker would not be asked to carry the team. Instead, he would slot into an environment where pressure is shared and production is spread across multiple stars. That dynamic is a major selling point that cannot be overstated. In Los Angeles, Tucker would not need to justify a massive contract every single night. He would not be the lone centerpiece expected to change a franchise's fortunes. He would be part of a machine that is already designed to win. That alone can be more appealing than a higher annual salary elsewhere, especially for a player who understands the long-term value of consistent postseason exposure and the chance to elevate his market value through team success. Another layer to this situation is how patient the Dodgers appear to be. They are not rushing, they are not escalating their offer publicly, and they are not signaling panic. Instead, they are letting the process unfold, trusting that their reputation, stability, and competitive track record will speak for itself. This patience creates leverage because it subtly shifts the pressure elsewhere. Other teams feel the urgency to close the deal, while Los Angeles can afford to wait and react. There's also a clear internal belief that the roster, as currently constructed, is good enough to win at the highest level. That confidence changes everything. When a team knows it does not need a move, negotiations become cleaner and more disciplined. The Dodgers can afford to set boundaries, and that is exactly what seems to be happening here. A short-term deal makes sense for them because it aligns with their long-term planning, preserves future payroll flexibility, and still offers Tucker an opportunity to thrive in a premier baseball environment. On the field, imagining Tucker in this lineup is undeniably exciting. The balance he would bring, especially alongside other established hitters, could create one of the most difficult lineups for opposing pitchers to navigate. Matchups would become nightmares. Late-inning bullpen decisions would grow more complicated, and defensive alignments would be forced to adjust. Even with a solid outfield already in place, adding Tucker would elevate the group from reliable to elite. Yet, the Dodgers are not operating under the illusion that this addition is the only path forward. They continue to monitor a wide range of options across the market, which reinforces how comfortable they are with their position. This flexibility keeps them protected from overcommitting to any single outcome. It also sends a message that this organization will not sacrifice its broader vision for the sake of one headline-grabbing move. As the clock continues to move forward, the sense is that a decision is approaching. Whether that moment arrives within hours or stretches into the coming days, the framework is already clear. The Dodgers have presented their vision, defined their limits, and positioned themselves as a destination built on sustained success rather than short-term splashes. Kyle Tucker now faces a choice that goes beyond numbers on a contract. It is a decision about environment, opportunity, and the type of legacy he wants to build within the game. The longer this unfolds, the more it becomes evident that Los Angeles is comfortable letting the situation breathe. They are not chasing for the sake of chasing. They are offering a scenario that emphasizes winning, stability, and the chance to be part of something already proven at the top level. For Tucker, that reality could be just as compelling as any financial incentive, especially when considering what a strong season in this system could mean for his future earning power and overall standing in the league. As this situation continues to develop, the contrast between the Dodgers and the rest of the field becomes even more striking. Other organizations appear to be approaching Kyle Tucker with a sense of urgency that borders on pressure, framing him as a solution rather than an enhancement. In Los Angeles, the tone is entirely different. The Dodgers are presenting themselves as a destination where excellence already exists, where Tucker would amplify what is working instead of being tasked with fixing what is broken. That distinction matters, especially for a player who understands how thin the margin is between success and frustration at this level. The Dodgers' internal confidence shapes every layer of this pursuit. They trust their player development, their coaching infrastructure, and the culture that has been built over years of sustained competitiveness. When they evaluate Tucker, it is not just about his numbers or his highlight plays. It is about how his skill set fits into an ecosystem designed to maximize talent. The organization believes that players often perform at their peak when they are placed in the right environment, and Los Angeles has become known for creating exactly that. From a competitive standpoint, the appeal is obvious. Playing meaningful baseball deep into the season is not a promise with the Dodgers. It is an expectation. That reality changes how free agents evaluate offers. The chance to step into a lineup that already generates pressure on opponents from the first inning to the last carries weight. Every at-bat matters. Every game has postseason implications, and every performance is amplified on the biggest stages. For a player like Tucker, that exposure can elevate both reputation and legacy. There's also a subtle financial logic at play that goes beyond raw salary figures. A strong season or two in Los Angeles, surrounded by elite protection in the lineup, could lead to even greater long-term value down the road. The Dodgers are essentially betting that their environment can help Tucker reach another level, and they are confident that he understands that equation. Instead of focusing solely on immediate guarantees, the conversation shifts toward maximizing potential and long-term upside. Roster construction further reinforces this strategy. The Dodgers have shown time and time again that they prefer adaptability over rigidity. Shorter commitments allow them to respond to injuries, emerging talent, and market opportunities without being boxed in. Bringing Tucker in under that framework would fit seamlessly with how they operate. It would allow them to remain aggressive while still protecting the future, a balance few teams manage as effectively. On the field, the ripple effect of adding Tucker would be felt immediately. Pitchers would have fewer safe matchups, managers would be forced into tougher decisions, and opposing defenses would need to account for another elite threat. Even without him, the Dodgers present challenges every night. With him, those challenges multiply. That is why the interest remains strong, even if the tone remains calm and measured. What makes this moment particularly intriguing is that the Dodgers are not relying on persuasion through noise. There are no dramatic statements or escalating rumors coming from their side. Instead, everything suggests quiet confidence. They know who they are, they know what they offer, and they trust that players see the value in that. In a market often driven by spectacle, that restraint stands out. As the decision window narrows, the Dodgers' patience could become their greatest asset. Pressure tends to distort judgment, and Los Angeles is operating without it. They are prepared for multiple outcomes, each aligned with a broader plan that extends beyond a single offseason. That readiness allows them to stay disciplined, even as excitement builds around the possibility of a major addition. For Tucker, the choice is layered and complex. It is not simply about dollars or years. It is about fit, timing, and trajectory. Joining a team that already expects to compete for championships every season offers a unique platform. It provides stability without stagnation, ambition without chaos. Those qualities are difficult to quantify, but they often define the difference between a good situation and a great one. Meanwhile, the Dodgers continue to operate as if nothing is guaranteed, and that mindset has served them well. They evaluate, they wait, and they remain open to pivoting if necessary. That approach keeps them in control of their future rather than reacting to the market's demands. Whether Tucker ultimately chooses Los Angeles or not, this process highlights why the Dodgers remain one of the most respected and effective organizations in the sport. Every hour that passes adds another layer of anticipation, but the underlying reality stays the same. The Dodgers are offering a vision rooted in winning, balance, and opportunity. They are not selling hope. They are presenting proof. And as this chapter unfolds, the focus remains on how a player of Kyle Tucker's caliber could seamlessly integrate into a system built to sustain success at the highest level, without forcing the organization to compromise the principles that have kept them at the top year after year. As the waiting game stretches on, one thing that becomes increasingly clear is how comfortable the Dodgers are with uncertainty. They have built an organization that does not need to rush decisions, because their foundation is not fragile. This confidence allows them to view the Kyle Tucker situation as one potential chapter, not the entire story of their offseason. That perspective is rare, and it shapes how every conversation unfolds behind the scenes. There's also a strong baseball logic guiding this approach. The Dodgers understand that talent alone does not win championships. Fit, chemistry, and timing matter just as much. Tucker's profile checks nearly every box, but the front office is still weighing how his presence would interact with the existing rhythm of the clubhouse and the daily structure of the lineup. This is not hesitation, it is precision. The organization has learned through experience that the best moves are often the ones that feel natural rather than forced. From Tucker's point of view, the Dodgers present a unique environment where expectations are high but support is constant. Players are not isolated under pressure. They're surrounded by depth, preparation, and a shared standard. That could be incredibly appealing for someone entering a new phase of his career. Instead of carrying the weight of an entire franchise, Tucker would be asked to be himself, to contribute his strengths, and to trust that the system will elevate his performance. Another factor quietly influencing the situation is how the Dodgers manage attention. Playing in Los Angeles comes with exposure, but it also comes with insulation. The organization is skilled at keeping players focused on baseball while handling the noise externally. That balance allows stars to perform without feeling overwhelmed by expectations. For a player of Tucker's caliber, that environment can unlock consistency, especially over the grind of a long season. On the competitive side, the Dodgers are constantly evaluating how small upgrades can create big advantages. Even marginal improvements in on-base ability, power balance, or defensive range can shift outcomes over the course of season. Tucker represents more than a marginal improvement, but the principle remains the same. His addition would not redefine the Dodgers' identity, it would sharpen it. That distinction matters because it keeps the team grounded in what has already made it successful. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers are swirling around Los Angeles, and the center of the storm is none other than Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. Sources close to the team suggest that Roberts, despite his calm demeanor and measured press conferences, might be the weak link in a roster overflowing with talent. It's a narrative that's gaining traction among insiders. Some baseball legends are openly claiming that this Dodger squad is so stacked so meticulously assembled that practically any manager could steer them to a championship. The Dodgers have long been viewed as one of baseball's most formidable lineups, boasting power hitters, depth in the bullpen, and a rotation that strikes fear into opposing teams. Yet, according to whispers from veteran scouts and analysts, Roberts' leadership style, often described as cautious and deferential, has drawn criticism in private circles. The sentiment isn't necessarily rooted in a lack of knowledge or skill. Rather, it's that the roster's sheer talent may overshadow any managerial influence. This team practically runs itself. One retired baseball icon reportedly remarked off the record, "Any competent manager could get a ring with them." The speculation raises questions about how much Roberts' approach affects on-field dynamics. Observers note that his lineup decisions often prioritize stability over experimentation, which some see as a conservative strategy in an era when managers are celebrated for bold, game-changing moves. Critics wonder if this calculated caution might be a subtle hindrance, particularly in high-pressure situations where intuition and risk-taking can tip the balance. Meanwhile, the players themselves remain professional and focused, seemingly unaffected by the swirling chatter. But rumors have a way of influencing locker room morale, even if indirectly. Of course, every season brings its share of what-ifs, and the Dodgers front office is unlikely to publicly acknowledge internal debates. Still, murmurs in sports media circles suggest that if the team fails to capture the ultimate prize, Roberts' position could become a talking point. Could the Dodgers' path to a championship be less about the managerial acumen and more about the overwhelming depth and skill on the roster? The conversation is heating up, and for fans and pundits alike, the question remains tantalizingly open. In a team this talented, how much does the manager truly matter? That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.